Today is the day. Going to the Titanic Museum. Now they don't allow video in here, so it'll probably be mostly just still photos. My understanding from talking to locals is those big cranes that right there, they were used to put freighters together. They built them in sections inside, and then they used those to put the joints together. But from my understanding, from what their locals were saying, they stopped making them because the cost of materials cost more than what China could make a whole freighter for. So I don't think they're used anymore. Anyway, on to the museum. The Titanic was one of the tenders that was built to shuttle people between Titanic and shore when they were loading. So that is here, so we will go check that out. But we're gonna go check the museum out. It looks like they've been doing a little construction around here. So there we go. We'll figure out how to get in there. There we go. Kind of see where we are, where the pneumatic is, all the different things around here. There's the Titanic Hotel, so you can literally stay right here at Harland Wolff. That's called Titanic Studios, and yeah, a lot of neat stuff here. So this is where the White Star Line ships were built. White Star used pretty much all Harland Wolff built ships. This is a place you just gotta come to. I don't think the video is gonna do this place justice. Yes, textiles did have a lot to do with things like Titanic.
Spinning into the industry, I'm telling you.
It tells little stories, but it's so noisy in here I can't hear. Anyway, I'm gonna that's the top.
Look at them, pulling before your eyes, right there on the river. We couldn't do that without counting.
Probably where they made the ropes for their liners. How many tons of whiskey were made in Belfast between 1900 and 1920? Wow. Holy mackerel. 52,000. Actually, that'd be 526,222 tons. Wow. Oh, righty. Whoops. Yeah, I guess radio's come a long ways, hasn't it?
What's so special about the issue ships then?
Yeah, and he survived the sinking.
That's a sort expected. Right, well, the gentleman retired to talk. His lordship was talking about the largest dry dock in Belfast. Enormous gantries, a dry dock.
The gate to go into Harland Wolff.
They are indeed proposing a new generation of ocean liners. Big ships, Mr. Harrison. The largest and most luxurious ever. Not so fast as Cunard's Lusitania. Half as big again. In water the liking of the upper crust. 3, I think they said. Beats me where they find this sort of money from. That's the clever part, James. Mr. Ismay has the backing of the distinguished American financier John Pierpont Moore. So the shipping firm, the International
I think I have this. That's the time clock where you punched in.
British ships built with American money. Whatever's the one coming to, it's not always the way. It's faster now. Matter of speed, James.
See if I could see what they were drawing. I think those are going to show up. This goes on for a while, so I'm not going to video it all, but you get the picture. Wow, does that go up a long ways?
I was thinking how I'm going to see that. Harland Wolff Shipyard, yard number 401. It became known the world over as Titanic, the largest passenger liner in the world.
That is the inside of the Olympic, putting the bulkhead in. A lot of riveting, putting rivets in. Yeah, things are going to be a little out of order because I can't get up to things. This place is packed.
This was Titanic's double bottom. Here the hull was made up of 2 layers of steel plates, in some cases forming enclosed tanks and twin engines. Building Titanic was a feat of engineering. Harland Wolff and over 14,000 men, many of whom worked on Titanic for 26 months to date, and were originally between 2 and 3 Harland Wolff Shipyard springs started out as straight bars until these were heated in a furnace, then moved out onto slabs for cast iron, where they were hammered together and hammered it into finished shape before it was too cold to bend. Springs, so these were listed out steel plates in the ship. These plates were strengthened in 26 months. Building Titanic was a feat of engineering. Harland Wolff employed 15,000 men. The shell plates on the whole Titanic were 30 feet long and Building Titanic was a feat of engineering. Harland Wolff employed 15,000 men at that time, many of whom worked on Titanic over the 26 months it took to construct the hull for launch, mechanized and partially done by hand by riveting screws. The riveters were
Titanic ride.
Castings that at the stern of the ship were massive castings that supported Titanic's rudder and propeller shafts. These were made off-site by the Darlington Forge Company. The center propeller shaft passed through part of the cast that supported the rudder. It was known as the stern frame and was the hinge which allowed the rudder to steer the ship. The outer propellers were held clear of the hull by propeller bosses. The rudder was built of 6 steel sections. The rudder frames had to be enormously strong to withstand the force of the rudder turning in heavy seas. Building Titanic was a feat of engineering. Harland Wolff employed 15,000 men at that time, many of whom worked on Titanic over the 26 months it took to construct the hull for launch. At the Harland Wolff Shipyard in Belfast, there was a 6,000-ton structure which was over 200 feet high. It was known as the Arrow Gantry. The gantry was constructed to house 2 massive ships that were being built for the White Star Line. It supported the giant cranes that lifted materials and equipment into the ship's hull using steel and rope slings made on-site by the yard's rigging teams. Housed in the Arrow Gantry was a Harland Wolff ship with the yard number 401. It became known the world over as Titanic, the largest passenger liner in the world.
Mr. Ismail, sir. Sir, there's a train of hundreds of men going at the slipway with 20 tons of tallow and soap to make her lie down for double quick time.
It is. The two drag trains weigh 80 tons apiece, along with 6 massive anchors stopped her. It took 62 seconds for my time.
So what is the head of Mr. Ismail? Lesson to be written from Kinard?
Nonsense. Harry and I are convinced that the pursuit of speed is futile. Safety and luxury will become the deciding factors on the transatlantic route. You'll see.
Mr. Perry, is the launch going to get planned?
Our master of ceremonies, Mr.
I guess I should state this in case if you didn't know, but that's where the Titanic was built, and that's where the Olympic and the Britannic were built in that one. Yeah, so you would have, that ship would have been towering there, and that's where the Britannic and, like I say, the Olympic was the first one, Titanic was the second one, Britannic was the third one. Pretty neat, huh? Yeah, I don't think this camera just doesn't record well when it gets dark.
By March 1912, Titanic was ready for her maiden voyage. For Belfast, the triumphant culmination of many years planning and labor. Before
Look
she
at
could be
the
handed over, Titanic had
size of the
undergone
guy
sea
here
trials.
compared to the
On the 2nd of April
boilers.
1912, she carried out a
Yeah,
series
you would
of
have been
maneuvers in open water.
struggling to reach up. Well, I guess these would have sat down a little lower, maybe, but he would have still been struggling to shovel coal into there and clean ash out of there.
She was preceded by a considerable weight of expectation. At Southampton, the White Star Line had already constructed a massive deep-water ocean dock, covering almost 16 acres and dredged to a depth of 40 feet. England's premier passenger port was flourishing, with new shops, restaurants and businesses opening to service the growing passenger trade. And job opportunities on board ship and in the docks brought migrants from all over Britain and Ireland. Almost 400 of
It's a
Titanic's
giant
crew lived in
reciprocating
Southampton's
engine in
northeast.
Titanic.
A national coal strike had left several
That's the
ships
port
laid in
engine.
dock, and the prospect of a job on Titanic
Port.
was a welcome relief for crewmen who managed to sign up.
401 was the
On
number of
April 5th,
Titanic, and P
Titanic
stood
was
for port.
dressed in her signal
They turned
flags
different, well,
and pennants as a
they both
goodbye
turned
trip
two
to the
directions,
people of
but
Southampton would
it was
welcome.
counter-rotating propellers.
By April 10th, sweetbreads and 8,000 cigars. At 7 a.m., Captain Edward John Smith came aboard the Titanic to prepare for the Board of Trade muster at 8. Around 9:30, the first passengers arrived on the boat train from London Waterloo.
That's the inner funnel.
By late morning, all the passengers and crew were aboard.
And
Minus
that
two
is probably
firemen who were
Britannic's
delayed in
because of
Atlantic
the hull
Hudson
number.
missed the
Yeah.
departure. At noon on April 10th, bang on time and fully expected
That
to be
went
in
down
New York
inside
within
the
a few
hull,
days,
and then the other
Titanic
funnel went
sounded
on
her
top of
whistle
that.
and cast off her lines. Almost a year of fitting out followed, transforming the massive hull into the sumptuously appointed liner described by the White Star Line as the Queen of the Ocean. By March 1912, Titanic was ready for her maiden voyage. Brought migrants from all over Britain and Ireland. Almost 400 of Titanic's crew lived in Southampton's northern district. A national coal strike had left several ships laid out in dock. At 7 a.m., Captain Edward John Smith came aboard the Titanic to prepare for the Board of Trade Master Levy. Around 9:30, the first passenger arrived on the boat train from London to Waterloo. By late morning,
time I got on a boat, but this was so crowded that something prompted me to ask to be taken back again on the ship. Strange as it may seem, when this lifeboat was being released from the davits, it overturned and all in it were drowned. Naturally, I was very frightened by this time, and I went quickly to the other side. The last boat was being filled, and I was the last one to get onto it. The water was by this time nearly on a level with the deck, from which the boats were being lowered.
Now if we look down the long stairway that led from the boat deck 3 or 4 decks down, frankly, I'm never likely to forget the sight of that cold, greenish water creeping step by step up that stairway.
Otherwise, our boat would be pulled down with the ship. During all this time, the ship's piano was kept playing, and the strains of Near My God to Thee could be plainly heard as the stern of the great ship was raised in the air.
A bit later, the foreign funnel guys carried away, and the funnel, weighing perhaps 50 or 60 tons, fell down with a crash on the water. It missed the rock and some of us hanging on to it by inches.
These are the sinking in actual speed, which you can Google on YouTube and watch it. I think Ocean Liner Designs, or maybe Titanic Honor and Glory, put videos up of it.
There's the last boat, I think, to leave the Titanic was number 13. No, there was a 15, but we had trouble with dynamics. They were frozen, and I'll tell you, I thought we were just going to be dumped in the water. We had one that was no nearer, or more distinct or indistinct, and we all called it the mysterious light. Oh, I knew I was going to drown. I knew my days were numbered. I felt that way. I really was reconciled to death. Being a Catholic, there are 3 priests on board.
I don't have time to look at all these as much as I would love to.
On your left, you'll see Robert Ballard. He was a young boy who was inspired by a Disney movie called 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Has anyone ever seen that? The middle of the haystack when you're on the size of the electrical ship.
No, I know. I told him not to.
Robert Ballard was sent on a top secret mission by the US government. There were 2 submarines lost during the Cold War. And the US deadly first.
There's Robert Ballard. And yet the Titanic was named, below the name was Liverpool. It was built in Belfast, went to Southend, Cherbourg, and then Queenstown, and then to the bottom of the Atlantic. Just pause if you want to look at something longer than where I hold the camera. And that's when they first spotted the boiler. Sunday, September 1st, 1985. site. So there's 9 monuments cosmopolitan site. Where our history was, and everything about the shipyard and everything about the... There's the slipways again. Not the, where they built them. That's what I meant. That point faces north.
That's a good point. I actually don't know.
So when we get to the blue lines, that'll be the patterns of the layout. This is Titanic, where Titanic was built, and that is where Olympic and Britannic, Olympic first, Titanic second, Britannic third. I don't see any blue lines. I see these rail lines. Well, I think that they lay out like where the funnels are and stuff like that. So the bow would have probably been up there where that block thing is. This is probably a funnel. Standing in a smokestack. It's a wonder I don't fall down into the innards of one of the boilers. So obviously the hull would have gone to those beams there. You can see those were lifeboats. So this is like walking on the deck of the Titanic. We're on the promenade now, I guess. That was funnel number 2, funnel number 3. That might have been the I don't know, maybe there, probably that's where the glass, it wasn't it between 3 and 4? I don't remember. Lifeboats. It was about 800 and almost 900 feet long, the Titanic. 800 and some feet. I don't remember the exact digits, but close to 900 feet. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what everything is here because I didn't really see on that thing exactly what was what. But you just have to come to Belfast and see it for yourself. It's really worth the trip here. Flew out of Toronto, Ontario, as you saw. The flight was cheaper and there was no layovers. It was direct to Dublin. There is an airport here in Belfast, but I don't know if it's international or not. It probably is. And this is where the stern would have been. Let's walk around the whole stern. What do you say? All these locks. Good Lord. Yeah, it was a pretty long liner. Doggone it, can't see the propellers. There, that was a little walk around the stern. So they would have launched, would have went that way, so they had to watch that they didn't hit that. And with the ship being as long as it is, yeah, it was probably tight getting over there and not hitting things over there where those freighters are. And I think the dry dock was over there somewhere, and the fitting out probably would have been right in there where those freighters are. Look, they're doing some work on that one. Cranes running. Wonder what they're doing over there on those freighters. You want to walk back on the Olympic and Britannic slip, seeing we walked out on the Titanic slip? I think that sounds good, and then we'll walk over to the bow, where the bow of the Titanic was. This would be where the stern of Olympic and Britannic was. They're referred to as the Olympic class ships. Biggest man-made moving objects in the world in 1912. The Britannic is still the largest ocean liner sunk in the world. There's no other ship. The Britannic was bigger than Titanic or Olympic. Britannic was 8 feet wider and a little more tonnage because of the bulkheads going up higher and more lifeboats and the bigger davits and whatnot. So that was why the Titanic was not the largest. It was the second largest. There's the gantries to put the freighters together. Yeah, I bet that is deep water if they had have the depth for those big, huge ocean liners. All right, let's walk up the Olympic and Britannic slipway, and then we'll walk back over to where the bow of the Titanic landed. Have to be careful I don't fall down one of the funnels and into one of the boilers and get cooked. That would have been a rough job, shoveling coal into those boilers. I guess the firemen were paid more than any other crew member other than the officers, because it was such a difficult, dirty job. They would work in the boiler room naked or just with underwear. So it was like 120 degrees in the boiler rooms, and they would just turn black from the coal dust. Can you imagine what the inside of their lungs must have been like? Holy mackerel. Neat little flowers there. It's a little breezy out, so sorry if there's wind noise. It's supposed to rain this afternoon, so trying to get the outside stuff done now. We're going to go on the Nomadic after this. We just fell down funnel 2. That's where funnel 2 would have been. Let's walk over to this over here. What do you say? Thomas Andrews went down with the liner. They say he was in the first class smoking room in a catatonic state, and that's where the ship broke, disintegrated. So yeah, he would have not survived for sure. That is some old wood. And it was actually became RMS. SS was steamship, RMS was a Royal Mail steamer. So because they had a contract with Britain to haul mail, it was a Royal Mail steamer. It was based out of Liverpool. Now you got to remember too, for a long time Northern Ireland was part of the UK, and it was the IRA, the revolution that, you know, because it was the Republicans against I guess the left, I don't know. Anyway, you can do the research on it, but they settled that in 1998, and so now it's just part of Ireland. Pretty darn neat. Yeah, you can get a clue of the size of the ship just basically from pole to pole, probably within very short distance of the width, maybe a few feet. All right, time to go check the Nomadic out. The Nomadic was built along with the Olympic class ships just to serve the Olympic class ships. Now, if any of you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is supposed to mimic the height of the Titanic, like that would be the bow of the Titanic. This was the largest shipyard in the world. You know, Belfast was a very much so, you know, with textiles and just everything they did here. It was a very bustling city. It's got a population probably about like Detroit. It's a pretty good sized city.